You're listening to an Airwave Media podcast.
This is Michael Medved. Otto von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Germany, once said that God offers special protection to drunkards, lost dogs, children, and the United States of America. We'll explore that special protection and what it means in The American Miracle. Subscribe to The American Miracle on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal. I'm here in an empty studio, but I have so many friends over the internet, starting with Matt and Julia. How are you both today?
Good.
We are good. Is one the loneliest number, Neal?
It can be, especially if that's the only CD that you owned at one point in your life.
I imagine so.
Yes. Jeff and Ken are not here. I don't know if anyone has heard in the news, but Hall & Oates are in a very bitter legal feud and personal feud. They're not, I don't think, talking to each other anymore. So they wanted to go to the Maneater convention to try and talk some sense into him. But they actually went up to Canada on accident. So they're actually going to be singing Nelly Furtado. But
I thought they were starting Hall and Jeff and Ken and Oates. Two split-offs.
That could be true too. I think Ken could provide the mustache, and then that would work. And Julia, I don't know if people know this, or maybe it's been kept secret. I'm not sure, but you've been quite the sommelier recently. So I was curious. It's about 80 degrees here today, sunny. What should we be drinking?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's, you know what? It's summertime. Drink yourself a rosé. Find yourself a nice $20 or less rosé from, you could be from France, it could be from the Finger Lakes, something dry, something crisp, something that is just, you're going to be able to just sip it and just get yourself through a whole bottle in an afternoon. It'll be lovely. Just enjoy a nice rosé.
I love that. Yes. So a nice rosé, maybe a book or something to our listener Triviality and sip your rosé.
Oh my gosh, it'd be perfect.
It's a perfect pairing.
It is a perfect pairing.
I've heard that from a sommelier once.
Well, speaking of perfect pairings, we have some perfect guests here with us today. It's a huge guest list that we're so excited to be a part of. We're going to start with our host today, coming to us from Philadelphia, Oakland 5 supporter on Patreon, Mary Glazer Smyth. How are you, Mary?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So nice to see you and have you here today hosting today's game. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name's Mary. I'm from Baltimore, but I've lived in and around Philadelphia for about 7 years. I work in public health, advocating for kids with disabilities and their families. I'm married. My husband and I have a 13-year-old dog named Zelda. I really enjoy traveling. Recently, we went to Spain, which Julia was talking about wine, had a lot of wonderful wine there. And actually, Ken and Jeff aren't here, but we were thinking about going to Iceland next year for my 30th birthday. So I'll have to, I wanted recommendations from them, but I suppose I'll have to wait. And then I kind of have a lot of hobbies and I like trying new things, but the main things I do are play video games. I like cooking. I like painting. If you'll indulge me, can I tell you a funny trivia story?
Yeah.
Okay. So my husband and I were in Montreal a few years ago and we decided to go to a pub for dinner and they were hosting trivia and we joined. Our team name was America's Sweethearts and we won. So then we went back a few days later before we left Montreal and they had given us like, you know, a gift card or whatever. And the hostess remembered us and like gave us free drinks and took a shot with us. And it was really fun. Just like a little serendipitous thing that happened. So trivia always brings people together.
Well said.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a cool story. And speaking of Iceland, I know Ken and Jeff aren't here, but they do talk about it so much. I'm sure they could record their own hour-long podcast and we'll send you a copy of it.
Jeff has about 700 pictures of the skyline or whatever, the Northern Lights that he could send you.
Yes, but I think you'll enjoy Iceland. I'm assuming you like to hike maybe and go outdoors because there's so much of that there, and it's really pretty. But we'll have to have you back on. You can talk to them about it in depth before you go, and then maybe have you come back and give us the report.
Okay, I'll pick their brains. My birthday's in August, so I probably wouldn't see the Northern Lights, but I'm sure there are still many beautiful things to be seen. So
yes, no, there definitely
well, you never
are.
know. We didn't think we were going to see the Northern Lights last week.
That's
and then
true.
Everyone did, so.
Well, it was cloudy here, so sadly.
Apparently, it could happen whenever and wherever.
And you might get a comet like they did in Portugal. You never know. We're excited to have you here. Thank you for bringing today's game. And our guest player today is going to be partnering with me, which I'm super excited about. You may have heard her winning all of Bloodsport Season 2, which was super exciting, coming to us from Texas, Oakland 5 supporter on Patreon, Amy Paull. How are you, Amy?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you back. It's been a while since we've heard your voice on the show, but let folks know what you've been up to. And I know you had a sort of a busy night last night, and you maybe didn't get so much sleep.
Yeah, I'm excited to do this. This is a nice little surprise for the day. I'm married. I have 2 kids. I'm outside of Houston, and my oldest one just graduated high school. So we were very much in the throes of senior events, and their graduation was last night. It's a 3-hour event because the school is very large. And then they go to a lock-in afterward where it's a big party, but they get to bowl and laser tag and video games and all that sort of stuff. And I'm part of the team that puts that on. So I went to bed very late last night, but I'm still excited. And you can always trivia even with little sleep, right?
That's right. And you, I think, won the laser tag competition, I'm assuming, too, right?
Never.
No, you didn't step in and go at it.
No, I'm a little more behind the scenes than the actual physical activity of laser tag, yeah.
Well, we're going to partner today, and I think in honor of your busy night last night, we'll be the graduates. And then Julia and Matt, what do you think? What are you going to be?
Well, sadly, with the high school theme, it's not Wednesday, so I'm not wearing pink, but we're still going to be the plastics.
You're going to be the plastics? Great. So, Mary, you brought today's game. We just have to hear the rules of the game. Is there anyone in particular you'd like to hear read the rules before we start?
I always like hearing them in Dutch, so Dutch.
We haven't had Dutch in a while, so Willem, take it away.
De regels van het spel zijn simpel. 20 vragen verdeeld over 2 rondes, waarbij elke vraag 10 punten waard is. Halverwege is er een speciale swingronde, ontworpen door de host van deze week. Na deze rondes beginnen de spelers aan de finale, met de punten die ze hebben verdiend. En hebben ze de mogelijkheid om 0 tot 30 punten in te zetten op 5 gecategoriseerde vragen. Aan het eind van het spel wordt iemand benoemd tot the cream of the crop.
Crop rules everything around me.
So that was our real Dutch boy, Willem van Vendeloo. So thank you for that. We are ready to play the game. So Mary, feel free to take it away.
Okay. Just as a little disclaimer, some of the category names have clues. Some of them don't. It just is. Okay. So round 1, question 1, the category is geography. The White Cliffs of Dover are found in which southeastern England county? It's the 5th most populous county in England and is geographically the closest county to mainland Europe. It also shares a name with a manager of the football club AFC Richmond in the show Ted Lasso.
All right, Amy. So what do you know about the Cliffs of Dover? Have you been before or have you read about them?
I have only been to London, so I haven't been there. I have watched Ted Lasso, but it's been a minute. So I'm hoping that you are more familiar with Ted Lasso or the Cliffs of Dover, because the only counties, when you say English county, that I think of are things like Sussex and Essex and that sort of thing.
So I'm a huge Anglophile. I used to live in London, and I love Ted Lasso, as Julia knows. But also one of my favorite book series that I just finished the new book of is called The Thursday Murder Club, and it takes place in Kent, which is the county I believe the Cliffs of Dover are in. So are you okay with going with Kent?
Oh, as in Roy Kent? I love it.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's there.
He's here. He's there. He's every freaking where. It's Roy Kent.
Yeah.
Yes, I also wrote down Kent.
All right. Well, good job. Both got the right answer. It is Kent County.
Also, that book series is so good. Have you heard who they cast it for the parts in the movie?
Yeah,
Neal?
it's amazing. Yes. I'm really excited. So for those at home,
good.
it's Helen Mirren, Ben Kingsley, Pierce Brosnan, which Pierce Brosnan surprised me a little bit, but I think he'll be good. And then they're waiting on the 4th person to be negotiated. But yeah, they're filming it in like a month basically. So
Who is it that
excited.
wrote that series?
Richard Osman.
Richard Osman. Yep.
Okay. I'm like, I've heard of it.
I like how you asked that question. Like Neal doesn't wake up every morning and just read every single thing that's in the Hollywood Reporter.
But like,
have you heard?
I heard Richard Osman tell us who they cast so far, who had signed on, and I was like progressively like jaw dropping as I was like driving to work. Like,
it's so exciting. Yeah, as Matt said, I usually put on fake chest hair in the morning and a chain, and I sit on the patio and read the trades in paper form. So.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready for question 2?
Yeah, sorry, derail.
We sure
Yes.
are.
No, it's all good. So, number 2, the category is he's not hateful towards feet. How many Academy Awards has Quentin Tarantino been nominated for in the categories Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Picture? And for 5 bonus points, name the 2 movies that he won for, including their categories.
I can lock in for us, Amy, to let them talk if you're okay.
Oh, I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah, that was not
Trying to read the clue in the
unexpected.
category. That's all I got.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need
There's
to
a movie
discuss this.
question. Neal, go.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, Matt. You know what, Tarantino, not my strong suit.
Well, yeah. If the category is a clue, things that are hateful, I believe there are 8.
Oh yeah.
And that would be what I'd lean to.
Okay. He's been nominated for 8. Okay, I could see that.
Yeah. The 2 movies that he won for, I think Django was. I think he did win for maybe screenplay. I don't know which one. And I think Jackie Brown is something that always comes up.
Oh.
Those would be my guesses.
Oh, and we have to name the categories.
Okay, director.
Has he
I don't know.
won director?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we'll say
maybe we'll say adaptive screenplay or original screenplay for both, and just hope for the best.
All right, great.
Okay, so we make fun of Quentin Tarantino on here a lot. I do as well, just because he's easy to make fun of. But yeah, so I believe it's 8, and the clue helped out just to solidify the answer. And then for the ones he's won before, he won for Django for sure, which he should have won for Inglourious Basterds, but he won for Django. And he also won as a co-writer for Pulp Fiction. So he won both for original screenplay.
Okay. So, yes, Neal and Amy, that's totally correct. You did both pick up on the hint, which is good. So the answer is 8. So you both get full points for that. And Neal is right. He won Best Original Screenplay for Django Unchained and for Pulp Fiction. So I think, Matt, you said Django Unchained in another movie?
Yeah,
Okay.
we said Jackie Brown.
Got it. Okay. So, yeah, so the graduates get bonus points. Sorry
So
to the
close.
plastics.
It's okay.
Oh, that's okay. I was happy to get 1. That was
That was nice.
That was a
Good.
guess. So
Okay. Question 3. The category is Mandela Effect. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison for protesting apartheid in South Africa and leading the African National Congress. Everyone could have sworn he died in prison, but in reality, he was released from prison in what year? In the same year, Mariah Carey released her debut album, the LA Lakers retired Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's jersey number, and the Hubble Space Telescope was launched into orbit.
So Amy and I discussed a little bit, and Amy was thinking it was more so in the 90s. And I knew that Mariah Carey, I think it was 89 or 90, her album came out. And so we just decided to just say if it is the 90s and we think it could be 89 or 90, we're going to lean towards 90. So that's our answer we're locking with.
and we were a little bit earlier on that, based on basically nothing. I know Kareem played into the mid 80s because he was on the 85 team when they won the championship, but I don't know when he would have retired in that. So we said 88.
Okay, well, the graduates were kind of dancing around it, and they did get it correct. It is 1990. Unfortunately for Matt, Kareem retired in 89. So, yeah, so the answer is 1990.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice job, Neal.
Okay. Well, this question has a jab at Jeff. Sorry, Jeff's not here. But number 4, the category is fun with flags. State flags are often boring, and no one cares about them except Jeff, and residents of the state whose flag bears the arms of the Calvert and Crossland families. People in this state fly the flag from their front porches, wear it on their shirts, and even get tattoos with the flag's pattern in the shape of a crab. It's also the only U.S. state flag based on British heraldry. Which state am I talking about?
This flag stinks.
Yeah, Matt and I have both lived there. We're Loch Nesson.
Oh, interesting.
Well, you just give him all the clues.
Or we have
It's California,
no
right, with the bear?
who have lived there.
So, Amy, I think I know this from Julia letting it slip a little bit, but any ideas on this one?
I just saw crab, which always makes me think of Maryland, but
I think it's Maryland. I believe Matt has lived there at one point, and for a little bit of game theory, I think our host said they're from Baltimore.
From Baltimore, that's right.
So we're gonna say crabs, but the good kind of crabs. So we're gonna lock in with Maryland.
Okay, yes, you are both correct. It is Maryland. I've wanted to get, I don't know, had to get a Maryland question in there because I'm from there, but the
Do you
flag
have that
is crazy.
tattoo?
No.
Okay.
But I've, if people will have, Orioles t-shirts, they're orange, but then they have a picture of a crab with the Maryland flag inside of it, but it's still somehow an Orioles shirt. I don't know. Maryland's weird.
Yeah, when I got my updated license, they brand you. You don't know that really, but they put a branding on you when you do that.
Yep.
Because they just love the flag so much.
Yep. Okay. Question number 5. The category is abbreviations. You always hear in car commercials that you can get a company's newest model at 0% APR for anywhere from 12 to 36 months. What does APR stand for?
Oh, we can lock in.
Oh, good.
Okay. So, Amy, it has to do with money and some sort of financing, which I'm not good with. So do you happen to know what APR stands for? It just scares me, so I'm just going to ignore it.
So in my head, I know it means to me, but I don't know if that's what it actually means. But what comes to mind is annual percentage rate, because I think it's over a year, that's how much percent you would end up paying. So
okay. That
the
sounds
only
good to me.
other word I could think of was adjusted, but I feel like annual makes more sense.
I like annual percentage rate. If you're okay going with that, I trust you.
Sure.
Yeah. So, when I was younger, I thought, all right, 18%, the higher the better, right? No, you want it low. Annual percentage rate, 100%.
Okay, both teams getting points. That is correct. You guys are both doing really well. That's exciting.
Agreed. We like points.
Okay. Another question that mentions Ken, and he's not here, but category 6, number 6 is dog breeds, Ken's favorite. At the West... Yeah.
It's Godzilla. Got it.
At the Westminster Dog Show, there are 7 major groups or categories of dogs who compete. Nearly half of the past winners have been in which group? There are 22 breeds in the group, including Schnauzers and Scotties. Think Toto from The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, so Amy and I talked a little bit about the different categories that we know of. We don't know all of them. We think we have an idea, but Amy, why don't you take what we decided to go with?
Well, we were thinking we know of hounds, working, toy, and we thought there might be a terrier one, which a Scotty's a terrier. We're hoping a Schnauzer's a terrier, and we don't really picture like little toy poodles in the same group with those two. So we're going to try terrier.
Matt and I also went with terriers.
Yeah, I've seen every episode, and I don't remember the dog show episode, but I think terriers is a good guess.
Well, again, the graduate's going back and forth, and you did choose the right one. The answer is terrier. There are lots of different types of terriers. I don't know them off the top of my head, but that's why they've won the most, because there's so many breeds in that group.
I love that you made a terriers reference, Matt. I'm not sure what podcasts have been making terriers references in the last 10 years, but...
Not recently, no. Maybe old Prestige TV, but...
So are Scotties the little white ones or the little black ones?
I think of them as little black dogs. I think Toto is a Scotty dog.
Ones? Is that a Westie is a white one?
Yeah. That sounds right.
Oh, yeah. Toto's not white. Yeah, I was totally confused on that. Okay.
He was black and white, I think, originally.
Was he?
Oh. Okay, number 7. The category is What a Wonderful World. Which of the 7 wonders of the ancient world is a structure built to honor the Greek goddess of the hunt? For 5 bonus points, where was this structure located? It has since burned down.
Well, Matt, many moons ago in 2017, Misinformation did a podcast episode on the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and this was one of mine. So I got this.
Yeah, and I can never remember what's ancient, modern, or future Marvel. So
what doesn't exist yet?
Yeah, possibly. So I'm good. Whatever you want. Locked in.
So as it happens a lot on this show, in one way, shape, or another, the question is very similar to one I think we got not too long ago, a couple months ago maybe, and I didn't know it then, and I did not look it up to try and remember it, so it's not in my head whatsoever, Amy. So I don't know if you happen to know this one.
That is not where I thought your story was going. I thought you were going to say, and now I know the answer because of that previous one.
It's always helpful when that happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have this game called Seven Wonders, and I'm wishing I had played it more recently because it's each of the seven wonders. So there's like the Babylon Gardens, so I'm assuming that's not to a huntress. There's something called like Halicarnassus or something. Does that sound familiar?
That doesn't sound familiar, no.
That doesn't sound familiar. Obviously, there's the pyramids, so that's not going to be it. There's the Colossus of Rome, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's a lighthouse in Alexandria. Was it the lighthouse?
Maybe it's because Alexandria, I know it's a place, but is that also the name of, or would it also be in honor of a Greek goddess? Or
So I feel like the Greek goddess of the hunt is Artemis.
That's right. Artemis.
Does anything like that trigger something with you?
So, not really, but the lighthouse would make me think if Artemis was on the hunt, that she would need light. But I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass.
Alexandria is in Egypt, I think. So if she's Greek, would it not be there? And then there's, is it the Colosseum? But that's too, no, not the what's the one to Athena?
Well, actually,
she's not the goddess.
I didn't realize
it
says it since burned down. Didn't the library burn down? Is it the Library of Alexandria? Is that what the Seven Wonder is?
Oh, is that better? Still
Maybe. I just remember that burned down when I read Percy Jackson. I think they talked about it, but that was 15 years ago. But I don't know. Yeah. Do you want to go with
Percy Jackson? Of course, that's how you know it.
Do you want to go with that, Amy?
Sure.
All right, we'll say Egypt for the bonus points.
This was one of those times where we were listening to our competitors talk things through, and I was like, they're talking themselves into the correct answer, and they skipped right over it. This is the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, which was in present day Turkey. Doesn't exist anymore.
Well, the plastics are exactly correct. It is the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. I don't know how you pronounce it. Amy, I think you're thinking of Halicarnassus, maybe?
The mausoleum at Halicarnassus.
That's who makes missiles for the U.S. or something. Oh, no, that's Halliburton.
I'm just trying to picture the little boards that you get handed out in that game, but I haven't played it soon enough or recently enough.
That's okay. Okay, so number 8, the category is mergers and splits. What Japanese company, which was acquired by Bandai in 2005, developed classic video games such as Pac-Man, Galaga, and Dig Dug? Despite it being a powerhouse in the video game market, they never released their own home console because of a saturated market with Sega and Nintendo in the late 1980s.
Okay, Amy, what's your knowledge on Pac-Man?
I have played it. I have played Dig Dug at the Pizza Hut when I was growing up. That's what I remember. And I can picture the little machine, but I have no idea who made it. Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I can see it, the logo. It's like blank for me right now. So they never released their own home console because of a saturated market. Namco is not right, but Namco is coming to my head. I don't even know if that's a company. I could be completely wrong.
You said it, and it sounded familiar.
Namco. I don't know if that's right, though.
What does the logo look like that you're picturing?
I think it's just letters. I think it's just like white text, and then they usually had like 2 lines coming into it. It's just logo text, right? Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to come. I know it when I hear it because I don't know if Namco is correct, but it's like a famous name. Or let's see, because I was thinking of Bandai or Konami. No, Konami did Mortal Kombat.
Oh.
I don't know, or maybe not. Maybe not. They would have had a Sega game. Do you like Konami or Namco?
Well, I like Konami because it sounds like a Japanese company.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if Konami did that, but they're a big company. So do you want to go Konami?
I like it. Namco sounds more like something company in English, right? Like they took a name and, okay.
No, I agree. Yeah, let's just go with Konami. Why not?
I like it.
Oh, I think they did it again. I'm pretty sure this is Namco, right? That's what we locked in with.
Oh no,
Namco.
Yeah, there's a Namco arcade classics game I had on PlayStation, and it definitely had all these games on it.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
Matt and
sorry,
Julia are
Neal.
right. It is Namco. Neal backed us out of the. Yeah, the answer is Namco.
I didn't have any confidence in it, so I thought it was wrong. I thought it was like Pamco or something, and I was just naming it wrong.
I'm not like actually enjoying this, guys. Like it just never happens to me. It's usually me that talks. That I usually talk myself out of the answer.
Well, we had 2 where we went the right way, and now we've had 2 that we go the wrong way. So it all works. It all evens out.
Yes. Okay. So number 9, the category is just a slob like one of us. So in the Old Testament, God brought 10 plagues on the Egyptians in a massive attempt to persuade Pharaoh to free the Israelites from slavery. This is part of the story of Passover, which Jewish people observe every year. In what biblical book does this story take place?
I do not know much about the Bible at all, but I do remember seeing The Mummy from 1999 recently in the 25th anniversary.
Okay.
And they talk about the plagues in that movie because Akhenaten, or no, that's his wife. That's who he loves. Anyway, Imhotep brings the plagues when he gets released, etc. So I think I have an idea, but I do not want to say it and get this question wrong because I'm talking about The Mummy from 1999 with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
But do you happen to know the answer?
I do not know the answer, and I'm afraid to say something because you're going to say something different, and then we're going to pick the wrong answer. But I always feel like these stories are earlier in the Bible than I think they are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is this, here's my guess, Exodus? Is that what you were
I was going to
thinking?
say Exodus based on The Mummy. So
I feel like in my head, the Exodus is like leaving, and so...
yeah, I like it. Let's not overthink it. We'll say Exodus.
Okay.
Because we both said it. So
we're going to guess one thing. Good.
Yeah. Neal learned it from The Mummy, and I remember this from Monkey Bone. It's not true. It's Bedazzled. What were you going to say, Julia?
I was going to say, is Maccabees a book in the Bible?
I feel like it is.
Because in the Rugrats Passover special,
where we all learned
about it, they say like a Maccabee's gotta do what a Maccabee's gotta do, and that's all I remember. So if I had to pick, I would say Maccabees.
Yeah.
If that is a book in the Bible.
Yeah, I agree. Whenever I go to Maccabees, I always get the popcorn shrimp.
Yeah, they microwave everything so well there.
Yeah, so let's go with Maccabees. I don't even know if that's a Bible book.
I don't think it is, but I'm trying so hard to like keep a poker face. But yes, Amy and Neal, you are correct. The book's Exodus. The clue was, this is obviously a very subtle clue, a massive attempt and like a mass exodus. Also, I appreciate someone laughing at my stupid Joan Osborne joke. When I mentioned yeah. Yeah, it has nothing to do with like the actual content of the question. I just thought it was silly.
that's a good earworm, though. That'll be in our head for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Dr. Evil sings it in Austin Powers, right? That's the version that always plays in my head. Yeah.
That movie is a classic. I got to rewatch that movie. It's been a while.
Okay, are we ready for the final question? The number 10, the category is Take Me Out. In June 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand took an ill-fated trip during which he was assassinated by a man named Gavrilo Princip. This is what many historians say triggered the events leading to World War I. In which former European country did this event occur?
Okay, so they're locked in. I feel like this is one of the L countries. I was thinking it was either Luxembourg or Liechtenstein.
So it was a former country. So those still exist.
Do they? I haven't been there.
They do.
Okay.
So I'm thinking more like Yugoslavia.
Yes, Czechoslovakia.
Like Prussia, which really didn't ever exist as a country. Czechoslovakia, which doesn't. Yeah, that's no longer its own country. I mean, I don't know when Yugoslavia happened, but that's kind of where
after.
Okay.
I believe it's the 50s, 60s,
okay.
maybe.
Okay.
It's not. It's all that. That's after. So
yeah.
I think Yugoslavia is a good guess.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, what are you thinking, Amy?
Well, when the question came up, my thought was Sarajevo and Yugoslavia. And I feel like one of those is wrong, where I always think it is Sarajevo, which was the capital of Yugoslavia, and that's not true. But since it was former country, I went with Yugoslavia.
So sadly, both teams are incorrect. The answer is Austria-Hungary, so now it is Bosnia-Herzegovina, but it was annexed by Austria-Hungary in 1908. They had during that empire. So yeah, the answer is Austria-Hungary.
Well, we did our best on the last one, but what's interesting, we both got the last question wrong, but we're ending the first round in a tie. So it's tied at 75 each for both teams. So great scores going into the swing round. Before we get into the swing round, just wanted to remind folks that you can come join us over on Patreon, like Mary and Amy have done. If you'd like to support the show and get all the newest episodes ad-free, maybe a day early, you can do that for as little as $1 a month. Or if you'd like to get a ton of bonus audio content, including weekly Patreon bonuses, which are fun little quizzes for the first 3 weeks of the month, plus a crop drop at the end of the month, you can do that for as little as $5 a month. But there's also some other great perks as well. But we'd love to have you over there, especially to hear all the nonsense on the crop drops at the end of each month, which we're hoping to get Julia on very soon. So that'll be fun to hear Julia's answers, to see what she's thinking. And come join us over at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. All right, Mary, what is the swing round theme for today?
Yes. So I was thinking of doing before and after swing round, and then the first clue that I will read to you was the first one I thought of, and I liked it. So I decided to do a whole round of before and afters, condiments and toppings edition. So
wow.
Yeah, so I'll give you clues, and they have two parts that create a before and after. One part of each before and after has the name of a condiment or a topping in it. It could be the first half or the second half. So I'm going to give you an example. If I said a vacation spot where you can go horseback riding and experience the great outdoors while eating pizza with a common Midwestern dip, the answer is Dude Ranch dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That's
cool.
really fun.
Obviously, yes.
Yes, I had fun writing these. Okay, so are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, E.L. James's erotic novel leaves readers asking, pardon me, do you have any? Number 2, favorite hot sauce for the U.S. Secretary of Transportation. Number 3, Leonardo DiCaprio movie in which the titular character eats a favorite childhood sandwich pairing. Number 4, 90s era American ska band that loves a common ingredient used to make pad thai. Number 5, the alternative ending to A Few Good Men, where the lead actor gets chopped into little pieces. Number 6, a song by Zac Brown Band that reached number 1 on the Hot Country charts in late 2008 and is about a cooked vegetable in the genus Allium. Number 7, 1977 short story by Stephen King, later adapted into a 1984 movie starring Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton, that features a dip for chips made with a starchy vegetable, peppers, onions, and jalapenos. Number 8, bougie mushroom-based pizza topping made by a former Procter & Gamble-owned skincare brand from the 1990s. Number 9, it turns out that the first woman of color to win the Academy Award for Best Actress spends her free time cooking and baking. She often makes a sweet topping for baguettes or crepes by mixing chopped fruits and sugar. And number 10, topping for tacos and chili that is of the highest quality or stature.
Okay, those are some great clues. We're going to take a moment to discuss them, and we will be back with our answers after these messages. Here's a trivia fact for you. Do you know what is on 1 in 5 Americans' bucket lists? Learn a new language. If that's you, make 2024 the year you finally check it off the list with Babbel. If you're serious about speaking another language, what Babbel can promise you are useful language skills, along with learning the context, traditions, and culture the language you're learning is grounded in. I like to pretend to be a Dutch boy on the podcast, but with Babbel, I can actually speak to all of our Dutch listeners. And I will say, I had a great time using Babbel before going to France last year. It helped me order food for my wife. Vous avez des options sans gluten, s'il vous plaît? Not too shabby. With Babbel, you can access more than 13,000 hours of learning content. And guess what? Here's a special limited time deal for all of our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/triviality. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/triviality, spelled BABBEL.com/triviality. Rules and restrictions may apply. Okay, all the answers are locked in for the swing round. What a great concept and execution here by Mary. So let's throw it back to her, and we'll hear what these clues are one more time, and we'll give our answers.
Yeah. So number 1 was E.L. James's erotic novel leaves readers asking, "Pardon me, do you have any?"
We went with 50 Shades of Grey Poupon.
We also went with 50 Shades of Grey Poupon.
Yes, you are both correct. Number 2, favorite hot sauce for the U.S. Secretary of Transportation.
This one, you wouldn't think of him as a West Coast guy, but or Southern, I guess. Texas Pete Buttigieg.
Well, if that's the answer, I feel guilty, Neal, because I am in Texas, but we didn't know this hot sauce, so we said Chili Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah, unfortunately, Amy, it is Texas Pete Buttigieg.
I need to eat more spicy things.
Okay, number 3, Leonardo DiCaprio movie in which the titular character eats a favorite childhood sandwich pairing.
We went with What's Eating Gilbert Grape Jelly.
We also said What's Eating Gilbert Grape Jelly, and we put and peanut butter. We didn't know if you needed the whole sandwich.
Jelly is fine. Yes, that is correct. Both teams get it. Number 4, 90s era American ska band that loves a common ingredient used to make pad thai.
Yeah, we're going through my encyclopedic knowledge of 90s ska bands, obviously, and settled on Real Big Fish Sauce.
This was thanks to Neal knowing ska. He got Real Big Fish, and we added sauce to go into your pad thai.
Perfect. Yep, both teams got it right. Number 5, I feel like maybe I made it too easy when I told you that it wasn't the people you were talking about, but the alternative ending to A Few Good Men where the lead actor gets chopped into little pieces, or maybe not lead, but whatever.
Yes, and then we started chatting about all the people that could possibly be in it and went with Kevin Bacon Bits.
We also did Kevin Bacon Bits.
That is correct. Okay, next one. A song by Zac Brown Band that reached number 1 on the Hot Country charts in late 2008 and is about a cooked vegetable in the genus Allium.
Yes, thankfully Julia could name one Zac Brown Band song, and that was Country Fried, and we went with Country Fried Onions.
I think chicken fried? Chicken fried.
Yeah. That's what we want. I can't read my writing.
Well, I was already marking myself wrong because we had written down chicken fried onions, and I thought, oh, it's country fried. But okay, I like chicken fried onions.
Yeah, it is chicken fried. Julia, I'm glad you chimed in because I would have felt really bad. You did say it before you officially locked in, so I probably
would have given it to you. This is why my scribbles are not the best for this. I have a big C and a little bit of a squiggle line. So obviously I am not the biggest Zac Brown fan.
I mean, just had to come up with a clue. Okay, number 7, 1977 short story by Stephen King, later adapted into a 1984 movie starring Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton that features a dip for chips made with starchy vegetable, peppers, onions, and jalapenos.
We worked our way real backwards on this one and we started with salsa and then worked our way backwards on all kinds of things that salsa could be made from and ended up going with Children of the Corn salsa.
Neal knew the Children of the Corn right off the bat, so we went with Children of the Corn salsa.
That is correct. Both teams get the points. Number 8, bougie mushroom-based pizza topping made by a former Procter & Gamble-owned skincare brand from the 1990s.
Yeah, I don't know why people love truffle oil so much, but we went with truffle oil of Olay.
We also did truffle oil of Olay.
That is correct. Number 9, it turns out that the first woman of color to win the Academy Award for Best Actress spends her free time cooking and baking. She often makes a sweet topping for baguettes or crepes by mixing chopped fruits and sugar.
I mean, she should probably brand this more than like the American Riviera Orchard stuff that's out there right now. I think I would buy some Halle Berry compote.
We also said Halle Berry compote.
That is correct. And number 10, topping for tacos and chili that is of the highest quality or stature.
Yeah, we had a bunch of different answers we were tossing around, but one really rise to the top. We said sour cream of the crop.
It took us too long to get here, but we did get here, and I love the reference, sour cream of the crop.
Yes, I was white people tacos because Neal was like cilantro, and I'm like, yes. But I was thinking of white people tacos. Okay, well, great. I had a lot of fun writing those, so hopefully they were
Those are great.
That was an
As fun to
awesome
play
round.
as they were to write.
It was an awesome round and some awesome scores too. So the graduates only got one incorrect, which means plus 45. So it's going to bring our total to 120. And for the lead here in the game, the plastics got a perfect score of plus 50. So they're at 125 going into the second round.
Feels a little bit like anyone's game.
Yeah, it's a pretty high scoring game, which I wasn't sure whether it would be, but we'll see what happens in the second round. Okay, so number 11, the category is This Painting Needs a Security Code. In November 2017, a Renaissance-era painting called Salvator Mundi broke the record for the most expensive painting sold at auction for $450.3 million. Who is the artist?
Okay, so they're locked in, Amy, because Julia knows a ton about art and the fine art, the finer things in life. But do you happen to know the artist of this one?
I do not know the artist of this one. I didn't know do you know off the top of your head?
I have an idea, but I could be misreading several articles I was reading of different artwork, because there was another, I always end up reading that one article. I think it was in Boston where they stole some artwork that was a big deal. But that was that was a Da Vinci, so I don't know if this is also Da Vinci or I'm mixing signals.
So here's the category was This Painting Needs a Security Code, and I hear code, and that goes Da Vinci Code. I don't know if, but I don't know if that's just because it's getting stolen a lot, or
no. I think that's a good clue. I didn't even think about the category. Yeah, let's just go with our gut again. Let's just say it's Da Vinci for Da Vinci Code. Let's just do it.
Okay, we're doing it.
Yeah, the painting is supposedly done by Leonardo da Vinci, but there are experts out there that are not quite sure.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that's a lot of money to not be sure.
I did not know that. But yes, the answer is Leonardo da Vinci, and good picking up on the clue.
It's actually Julia. Julia actually did the painting, and she's getting all the rewards.
Yes. That's why I live in a humble 3-bedroom house outside of Rochester with my $450
That's how you maintain $450 million, as you live in a humble house.
Okay, number 12 of the category is Movie Legends. So I'm going to name 3 movies, and I want you to tell me the Oscar-winning actor who is in all 3. He may or may not be credited in all 3 of them. The movies are Mission Impossible 2, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and Amistad.
We can lock in.
I had a feeling that would happen.
You didn't even actually have to say all the movies. It was fine. Oh my gosh.
I think this is the Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch, right? I think that's the one that's called that. There's multiple Grinches, but I think that's
Benedict
the name
Cumberbatch was not in Amistad.
He was not in Amistad, but if that's the Grinch, I don't think it's Jim Carrey. I don't remember. He was definitely not in Amistad.
Jim Carrey was not in Amistad either.
He is a chameleon, though. He is a chameleon.
It's like, somebody stop me. Like, oh no. Mission Impossible 2. I don't know. That's another. I've never seen a Mission Impossible movie. It's kind of a blind spot.
It's the worst one though. Like if you're
one?
gonna
Is
see
that
them,
Ghost Protocol?
don't watch that one. No, Ghost
Are they
Protocol
all
is
Ghost
so
Protocol?
good.
I will say, not to interrupt you both, but there's this weird campaign of people on Twitter who are very, very young, which is fine, who think Mission Impossible 2 is great, and they're like puffing it up and everything, but it's terrible.
It's
the
terrible.
worst one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, and it's the worst one, which is better than a lot of movies, but doesn't hold
but
up
they're
to all the
also-
other ones.
They're hugging their Jar Jar plushie, saying that Phantom Menace is good as well. So
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of wrong takes there. I have
think
no idea.
How the Grinch
here.
Stole Christmas is the original, animated Grinch. So you have like your voice there is like, you got Boris Karloff, and but I don't think he made it to Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible 2.
I can't remember who's in Amistad, so
me
I gotta
either.
tap out on this.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna lock in with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Sure.
Okay, so they locked in with Benedict Cumberbatch. Julia was kind of, this is a great question, by the way. Julia was kind of close with Boris Karloff, who narrated the animated Grinch, but you were looking for the narrator of the Jim Carrey Grinch, who was in Amistad and Mission Impossible 2, who's Anthony Hopkins.
Yes. Points to the graduates. It is Anthony Hopkins. I have some flavor text for this. So Well, first of all, the category is movie legends. He's in a movie called Legends of the Fall. I don't know if anybody utilized that clue, but I was hoping Amistad, when I said Oscar winning in Amistad, it would lead you to either Anthony Hopkins, Morgan Freeman, or Matthew McConaughey. And so I was watching Mission Impossible 2 for the first time not that long ago, and I saw that Anthony Hopkins plays Ethan's handler, and I was watching it and I was like, is that Anthony Hopkins? And then I looked it up, but he's not credited for it. Like, you can't find, I had to like do some deep digging to find out that it was him because he's not actually on the billing or whatever. So yeah, anyway, I thought that was like a weird combination of movies for him to be in.
I did read that Anthony Hopkins will say yes to anything.
And he reads his scripts 100 times until it's part of his core. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question, number 13, the category is Nothing Matters. Heinrich, Kierkegaard, and Nietzsche are all examples of what type of philosophers? The name comes from the Latin word meaning nothing.
Okay, so they're locked in. I think, Nietzsche famously God is dead, philosopher, and then Kierkegaard as well. I think is it nihilism, nihilist?
Okay, that's what I wrote down too, and thought nihil sounds like nothing. Could be from
I get called nihil sometimes. So and it is a very nihilistic view of my world to hear that. But yeah, let's go nihilist.
Okay.
We also went with nihilists. Good, because the correct answer is nihilist.
Yay.
Good.
Okay. The next one, category number 14. The category is not a politician. This Tony Award-winning musical and coming-of-age tale began its run on Broadway in 2016. The 2021 film adaptation, unfortunately, did not fare well in reviews or at the box office, which, along with decreased ticket sales due to COVID, led the Broadway production to end in 2022. Which musical is this?
I have nothing to add to this. So whatever you want to lock in.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's Spider-Man the musical, which I think is a coming-of-age story.
Spider-Man, turn off the dark.
Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah. I have an answer. I think we'll lock in with it. We would love to hear your discussion, Amy and Neal.
And just to confirm, what was the category, Mary?
Not a politician.
Okay. So, Amy, I think when you were on Bloodsport, if I remember, we were talking about Broadway and we were talking about musical scores. And I think you said, I haven't seen this show yet, but I love the album. And I think it was Dear Evan Hansen. Do you remember talking about that on Bloodsport?
Oh, yes. And I did see it. And I
you did end up seeing it. Okay.
Yes.
I just remember you in my ear saying, I loved the music of Dear Evan Hansen for a question. I think the movie got panned. Ben Platt's dad put him in the movie as a 35-year-old high schooler.
Yes.
So if you're okay with that, I think it's Dear Evan Hansen.
I love it, and I am so impressed with you for remembering that from 4 years ago.
Well, I can't remember what I ate 2 days ago, so it's a give and take. But yeah.
But do you remember the Temple of Artemis now?
I don't actually, but I'll try. I'll try to remember. Yeah.
I love it. Dear Evan Hansen. Oh, it's great.
I also wrote down Dear Evan Hansen.
That's correct. It is Dear Evan Hansen. Not a politician is like kind of a deep cut. There's a West Virginia state delegate named Evan Hansen, but obviously not him.
That is a deep cut. I did not even think about that, but yeah.
You know, I just was like, oh, there's another person named Evan Hansen. Okay. So
I thought maybe we were just going the politician angle of Evan Hansen lies about other people's feelings and what they've said and then gets really popular, but
that works too. If that's how you got to it, cool. Okay, so number 15, the category is It's Not Easy Being Green. There is a statue of this influential figure in media and children's entertainment located on the campus of his alma mater. The statue features him sitting on a bench, interacting with a famous character he created. It was unveiled on September 24th, 2003, which would have been his 67th birthday. Who is this person?
So, Amy, I think we got to be going with Jim Henson, I would think, right?
Right. By the It's Not Easy Being Green is Kermit, right?
Yep. And we got Amphibious.
Oh, is Amphibious in there? Oh, yeah. I didn't even see that part of the question.
And then he passed away right before the Muppet Christmas Carol, which was like 87, I think. So he was right around 50 years old. So yeah, I think Jim Henson, if you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen this. I know that they have a statue of Kermit on top of the production company I believe, in LA. I used to see it all the time when I would drive, when I was driving home. But I'm like 99.999% sure it's Jim Henson with Kermit.
Yes, you're both correct. It is Jim Henson.
What would you take? What roads would you take, Matt, to drive around LA?
They're all numbers.
No, this is all La Cienega, up and down, driving through the street. Just in Wilshire, you just take it everywhere.
For those at home, just beware if you see Kermit on TikTok. Probably don't watch those videos because they're not approved. You probably don't want to see those videos. But after the first 5 in the second round, the Plastics picking up another strong 40 points, bringing their total to 165. And the Graduates batting perfect the first 5 there, picking up another 50. And the lead changes once again. So Graduates have 170, Plastics 165.
Perfect. Okay. Number 16, the category head, shoulders, knees, and toes. An otolaryngologist is most commonly known by what abbreviation, which spells out the part of the body that they treat? Or parts.
Do we want to lock in for that?
Yeah. You feel good about it? I've been to many, so...
okay.
Yeah.
I wish that Neal saying he's been to many would narrow it down, but he has so many health problems. It could be literally anything. But Julia, you were shaking your head like you knew it.
Odo is...
Julia going right to the Latin.
Yeah, I love it, guys.
I think that was... he would always mess with Garfield, right?
Yeah.
Different guy.
You got your ear, and then your larynx is your throat. So they typically call them like an ENT. Your otolaryngologist is an ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Okay.
Yep. Amy, what did we lock in with?
We also locked in with ENT for ear, nose, and throat.
That is correct. It is ENT. Okay. These questions have turned out to be easier than I anticipated. So.
Oh no, these are great. These are one.
We're just all geniuses.
You're right.
You have a winner of
It's
Bloodsport.
really good when you're running on minimal sleep and like the most exciting thing
$450 million mansion.
Right.
Plus the content is right up our alley. These are great questions, Mary.
I tried to make it as varied. I tried to have a variety of things. So it seems to work out. Somebody from each team knows. Okay, so number 17, category long boys. What animal, which belongs to the same family as badgers and otters, gets its name from another Latin word, meaning little thief, because of their tendency to be mischievous and hide small items?
I'm just trying to think of animals that are similar to badgers and otters. I mean, like, I don't think a wolverine would be a long boy.
What are like a weasel? Is that?
Oh, a weasel. That's a long. Oh yeah, because they're mischievous and then they hide things. A weasel could be.
You're just thinking of Pauly Shore. He doesn't hide things anymore.
Screeching weasel. That's interesting though. Weasel.
There's also something. Is that too small? A ferret?
Oh, I like ferret. They're long boys for sure.
And girls.
Yeah, long girls and long boys. But if Arnold Schwarzenegger taught me anything as John Kimball in Astoria, Oregon, it's that a ferret is a long boy. So I like ferret.
Don't you like ferret things away? Isn't that a verb to like stash stuff? So
I think you're right.
Could go with that part of it.
I like it. That's a great answer. Let's go with ferret.
Yeah, I had a friend in high school who had pet ferrets, and they'd always say, like, you can't let them just out of their cage because they'll take things, hide them, and then they'll get lost in the walls, and you'll never find them again. They can make themselves really tiny and get into really little spaces. So, yeah, ferret.
Yes, the answer is ferret. That is correct.
Great teamwork all around on both teams.
Yeah, seriously, it was good. If you had said weasel, I would have asked you to be more specific because there's like a couple different kinds of weasels. Yeah, ferrets are weasels, but there's also other types of weasel, like other species of, I don't know, subspecies.
You remember Weasel Ball? Did anyone have a Weasel Ball?
I remember Weasel Ball.
What a weird toy that was.
It was a toy that rolled around. Off of it?
It was like a little ball that rolled around, and it had a tail, it looked like a weasel stuck to it.
Matt, what was the name of that toy that we had where you put it around your ankle and you jump and spin it and it makes like noises?
The house arrest.
Skip it.
House arrest, yeah, for Matt. House arrest, yeah. Skip it, yes. I don't know what made me think of that. I love Skip it. Skip it. Yeah.
That was Bop It.
That sounded like Bop It.
I could sing you that whole Skip It jingle now. And you know what? Maybe I'll do it in a crop chop.
No, we got to get copyright.
Yeah, maybe you should do it in a crop chop. Yes.
Big skip it.
Did you say let's skip it? Okay. Number 18 in the category is overnight sensation. Which musician, who is known for having uniquely named children, I'm looking at you, Dweezil, was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995?
We can lock in.
Well, Matt,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mostly I got this because I know who Dweezil is.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's a
Who's
Zappa. Dweezil Zappa. So Frank Zappa is his dad.
Poor Dweezil.
So that's what I would go with. Frank Zappa.
Okay.
Yeah, thankfully, Mary put that clue in there, Dweezil, because otherwise I wouldn't have known it. But yeah, we also said Zappa or Frank Zappa.
Yes, I contemplated whether I was just going to leave it at uniquely named children or put one of their names in there, but it seems like the name was helpful. It is Frank Zappa. And the category is overnight sensation, and that is the name of one of his albums.
Wow, nice. He was in Mothers of Invention too, right, for a while, or the Zappa? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I'll look it up so I don't make anyone angry, just to be sure.
The Frank Zappa stands. Okay, so number 19, the category is A Stroke of Luck. Composer Carl Orff's magnum opus was originally performed in a 1935 cantata called Carmina Burana, but it also has staying power in popular culture. It is often played in movies and TV for dramatic or sometimes comedic effect. Examples of its use include everything from background music for soldiers riding into battle in the movie Excalibur to the trailer for Paul Blart Mall Cop. What is the name of this song?
Okay, so I was just confused by the question because, yeah, Carmina Burana is very famous. That one. It's in everything.
Mm-hmm.
I used it in a short film in college about a sperm donor. Not that it matters. This will get cut, but...
use that as an example. College films by Neal Fisher.
It was my Project Greenlight entry that didn't turn out that great, but...
It's okay.
What does stroke of luck make you think of? Or do you know it from the rest of it?
I mean, I know that's what I'm confused by. So I know the song. I mean, the opening lyric of the song is "Oh Fortuna." I mean, it could be it could just be called "Oh Fortuna."
That sounds good because like
lucky.
fortune. Luck,
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. I just know it's "Oh Fortuna." Bella Luna.
Let's go
but
with
anyway,
that because that sounds fortunate is a stroke of luck. So go with
okay,
that.
we'll lock in "Oh Fortuna."
Yep. Oh, Fortuna, also one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
Yeah, I mean, the category name helped, and the first lyrics are "Oh Fortuna." That's what I went with.
Yes, it is O Fortuna. Neal, when you sang it, I was really worried you weren't going to get it, and I was like, no, he sang it.
He does that all the time, though. He'll say it and then be like, do you want to just go with something completely different? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much confidence in my
Let's go with
my
Flight
skills.
of the Valkyries.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, the final question, number 20, the category is Sock It To Me. I don't know much about tennis, but I do know about an amazing Japanese tennis player who has been ranked number 1 in the world by the Women's Tennis Association, is a 4-time Grand Slam singles champion, and was included on Time's list of 100 most influential people in the world in 2019, 2020, and 2021. I'm definitely not having an existential crisis about the fact that she's younger than me. I'm 28, if that helps you. Who is this person?
Don't worry, when you get older, you'll have that over and over. And over and over. We can lock in.
Okay, so do you know this one, Amy? Did you follow tennis?
No, but isn't she the one that had the press conference where she was? Did you know it?
Yeah, she talked about mental health.
Yes.
It's Naomi, and
is it Naomi Osaki? Did I just make
it's
up
either
a name?
Naomi. Is Osaka? It's not Osaka because that's a
she
place.
said
Osaki.
"Sock It To Me" is the category.
Yeah, is it Naomi Sako? Oh man,
I feel like it starts with an O. I feel like it starts with an O because my mind went to Shohei Ohtani, and I'm like, okay, that's baseball. But I feel like it starts.
Is it Naomi Osako? Osaki. I'll go with you because I know it. I've seen many interviews with her. I've seen her play, and I'm like, all I'm seeing is Naomi right now for some reason. And it's like blank. It's completely blank in my head. Naomi Osaki.
Let's see. Naomi Osaki, Naomi Osaka. That doesn't sound
Osaka.
right.
Oh,
Osaka.
man. I'm just going to let you I'll let you pick your gut.
I
Choose
spit
a
it out
vowel.
not knowing what I was saying, so let's go with Naomi Osaki. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
You're going with Osaki.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. Naomi Osaka.
I know. I was like, oh no. Yeah, it is
Saka
Naomi
to
Osaka.
me?
I'm sorry. Yeah. The answer is Naomi Osaka. I was like,
we got
listening
so
to you
close,
talk
Neal.
things out. It's like a roller coaster. I'm like, what are they going to go with?
After that last question of the second round, there's yet another lead change. So the graduates are going to be picking up 40 points, bringing their total to 210. But with that last question being answered correctly by the plastics, they're going to have the lead with 215. So it is 210 to 215 going into the final round. Before we hear the categories from Mary, we just want to remind you that you can go over to patreon.com/trivialitypodcasts, and you won't have to hear any of these ads twice a show because it's all ad-free, including all the Patreon ads. But like we said, you get a lot of audio bonus content. Is that right, Matt?
There are almost 600 people who are not listening to this ad right now.
That's
Isn't
true.
that
You could
sad?
be one of them. You could be one of the cool 600.
That's true.
And we're almost at 600. We're only about 18 to 20 or so to go to reach our goal for 2024, which we're reaching very fast. So if you want to be one of those 600 and kind of join the fray and listen to all these bonus episodes, hear Julia on a crop drop, and hear Julia be asked to sing the, what was the theme song?
The Skip It commercial.
The Skip It commercial.
Circa 1990. I can do it word for word.
She'll do it word for word.
I will bring out my Skip It at the same time. You just won't be able to see it. It'll be fine. It'll be great.
And for those in the Midwest, maybe you'll hear me and Matt talk about towing it to Gulf Mill Ford. We'll see. But anyway, you can come join us at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast to learn more. All right, Mary, what are those final round categories that we're going to be wagering on?
Yeah, so the first one, category 1 is TRI. Category 2 is VIA. Category 3 is LIT. Category 4 is Y. And category 5 is podcast.
So all the wagers are now locked in. Both teams have been doing great with this game with all the wonderful questions and are both going to be going all in. So 30 points down the board for both teams. So let's throw it over to Mary for the questions.
Yes, so in category 1, TRI, what is the medical term for Down syndrome based on the position of the additional chromosome that causes the condition out of 23 pairs of chromosomes humans typically have? Category 2, VIA, the Bosporus Strait is the shortest natural strait in the world. It is 19 miles or 30 kilometers long, and it forms one of the continental boundaries between Asia and Europe. Name the country it is located in and one of the seas it is connected to. Category 3 is LIT. The band Lit is a one-hit wonder with the song My Own Worst Enemy. In the song, they ask why their car is in what location. Number 4, speaking of Y, the next category is the letter Y. Y is the atomic symbol for which element on the periodic table? It is often used as an additive to strengthen aluminum or magnesium alloys. And category 5 is podcast. According to Variety magazine, this podcast had the most listens on Spotify in 2023. It is hosted by a controversial figure, and its name is reminiscent of a Woodstock-era band. What is this podcast called?
Okay, we're going to mull all these questions over, and Matt and I are going to reminisce about being in a cover band that played the song in number 3, and we'll be back after the messages. All the answers are now locked in. It is a tight game, 210 to 215. Let's see how it all shakes out. Mary, let's hear those questions one more time, and we will give our answers.
Okay, so question 1, what is the medical term for Down syndrome based on the position of the additional chromosome that causes the condition out of 23 pairs of chromosomes humans typically have?
I'll let the graduates answer first.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
Amy, we'll go to you.
Okay. We think we came close, but trisomy. Is that what we said, Neal? Did I say it right?
Yes, with the N in there. Yeah.
Okay.
And the plastics, we're going to go with trisomy 21. TRISOMY 21.
No N.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the
Neal.
answer is trisomy 21. I'm sorry to the graduates.
That's all right. We were close.
We didn't have the 21 either, so.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
exactly.
did you not?
No, we didn't have
we
a
didn't
21.
have 21.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even. Okay, so that makes me
So
feel
we
a little
weren't
better.
getting there even without the N.
Okay. Okay, so number 2, the Bosporus Strait is the shortest natural strait in the world. It is 19 miles or 30 kilometers long, and it forms one of the continental boundaries between Asia and Europe. Name the country it is located in and one of the seas it is connected to.
Should I go? We said Turkey, because I believe that's the country that's dissected between Asia and Europe. And then we said the Mediterranean for the sea that was below it.
We went with Turkey, and one of the seas that it connects is the Black Sea.
Yes, you are both correct. I'm going to give it to the graduates. There's the Black Sea and there's the Mediterranean Sea. Specifically, it's the Sea of Marmara, but that's like a subsection of the Mediterranean Sea, I think. So it's all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, points to both teams. Okay, so number 3, the band Lit is a one-hit wonder with the song My Own Worst Enemy. In the song, they ask why their car is in what location.
Yeah. Matt and I were in a cover band called Vinnie Barbarino's Dream Machine. Never had an actual show, but we rehearsed quite a bit. This was one of the songs that we played. And we used to sing Cars in the Front Yard, and I'm sleeping with my clothes on. So we said front yard.
Yes, I recall that as well, even though I wasn't singing. But yes, front yard.
Okay, yes, the answer is the front yard. Okay, the letter Y. Number 4. Y is the atomic symbol for which element on the periodic table? It is often used as an additive to strengthen aluminum or magnesium alloys.
When you said why, the name yttrium came to mind, so we went with yttrium.
Yeah, we knew a lot of elements have come out of ytterby, and we were kind of going back and forth on yttrium and ytterbium, and we ended up going with the shorter one, yttrium.
That is correct. It is yttrium.
Yay.
And the last one, category 5, podcast. According to Variety magazine, this podcast had the most listens on Spotify in 2023. It is hosted by a controversial figure, and its name is reminiscent of a Woodstock-era band. What is this podcast called?
Yeah, we may have heard from people. We're not sure if it's true or not. We're going to talk about it anyway, but we think it's called The Joe Rogan Experience.
Mm-hmm. We agree. Joe Rogan Experience.
Yep, again, both teams are correct. It is The Joe Rogan Experience.
What a final round. Great questions. And everyone went all in, as we said. So the graduates are going to end with a very respectable, very good score of 300. But as we should have been saying the entire game, the plastics are here all year round because they ended with 365 and are today's cream of the crop.
You're a winner, baby.
Good job to both teams. I'd love to come back and host again. I'll have to write harder questions and try to have a better poker face.
No, those were awesome questions. Yes, and we have to remember too, we tell our hostess that some people at home, like we might get them, some people at home might not, or if the questions are really hard, someone at home is going to get them. So it's all for the listener, and those were great questions. Let's start with you, Mary, because it was a wonderful game that you wrote. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or anything you'd like to say before we let you go today? We had such a fun time with your game.
Yeah, before I give my shout out, if you probably did not notice this, but if you take the first letter of all the answers from the 2 main rounds, it spells out Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff and then Triviality Podcast is the 5 categories at the end. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Very fun.
Great job.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to shout out the people on the Discord from Patreon who playtested my game, and shout out to my husband and my dad also for playtesting the game, and thank you to the Triviality team for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Of course. Thank you so much for being here and for putting that game together. We know how much work goes into creating a game. And Amy, so nice to see you again. It's been so long, but we're so happy to have you back, and you were a wonderful partner. We almost did it there at the end. I think we complimented each other so well. But anyone you'd like to shout out or anything you'd like to say before we let you go today?
Oh, well, I'd like to thank my husband, because when I got the message that you might need someone to come, he's like, sure, I'll take care of everything in the house. So that was great. Neal, I agree that we complimented each other well. This was a lot of fun, and I just really appreciate you guys inviting me on this. And it was fun because I've never done a normal show with y'all before. So loved it. Loved meeting all of y'all. And thanks a lot for having me.
Well, thank you, and you're always welcome back. Julia and Matt, any words after winning today before we, say hello in another hour? But anything you'd like to say?
No, it's always good to win. Give 110%. So
I was hoping for a bedazzled
we like to leave
quote.
it all on the court, Yeah.
Well, good. Wise words from the winning team today. And if you'd like to hear some more wise words, Airwave Media, our network, has a lot of podcasts that you can learn a lot of great things from, but they have a lot of new podcasts as well. And we have a list here of all the new podcasts to check out. So if you want to go to airwavemedia.com, you can check out some shows like Attaboy Clarence, From Beneath the Hollywood Sign, and Motley Fool Money. And I'm really curious if Motley Fool Money is about Vince Neal and his bank account. But we'll find out if you check out Motley Fool Money. But yes, thank you very much to all of our special guests, Mary and Amy, Matt and Julia, for being here with us as always, and Ken and Jeff, who are at the Hall & Oates convention. We hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you next week on another episode of Triviality.